It's day one of two here at Mondello Park in Ireland, and the Super 1600s and the hot hatches and the BMW Minis have been in business across three qualifying heats, and they're ready now for the semi-finals. Paul Coney has been the man to beat in the Super 1600s this year. He was fastest in Q1 and Q2. Mike Boak, however, was fastest in Q3, and he and Paul Coney topped the points, with Darren Scott the best of the rest. And it's Drew Bellaby heading those in the BMW Minis that have their own standalone championship but race with the Super 1600s. Semi-final one is good to go. Mike Boak is on pole position, Darren Scott with him in the middle of the front row, and then Drew Bellaby, Pembrey winner, on the outside of the front row as we go racing. Andrew Hawkes and Lee Freeman are on row 2. Leanne Sedgwick and Andrew Toomey are on the third back row of the grid, but a good start by racer, rally driver, engine preparer Mike Boak. The MB Motorsport car grabs the advantage down towards turn 1, and chasing hard Darren Scott, except he now elects to serve the joker lap. Now Mondello Park is one of the circuits where there is a joker. It's a slower lap, of course, because you've got to thread your way between the tar stack chicanes and then back onto the conventional circuit. Mike Boak therefore tries to pull away as he works his way then now across the loose section of circuit, through the so-called hole in the hedge, and then down towards what in the clockwise direction is turn 2. There is Darren Scott, who works his way then now onto the loose and back down towards Mobile 1 corner that brings them over the timing line. Andrew Hawkes ahead there in the Mini as they come over the line. So Darren Scott, having served the joker, now can just keep on pushing towards the end of the race. Everybody else has got to factor that joker lap in, and of course Mike Boak, as the race leader, is trying to make good his escape, knowing that he has got to serve that in due course as well. Boak blasting away. The Super 1600 category is picking up numerically over the course of this season. We're getting some very good racing out of the cars as well, and having them with the BMW Minis on track means for much fuller grids and very competitive racing. So Boak it is leading this first semi-final, fastest in Q3, but of course the real opposition is going to be Paul Coney, who we'll see on track in the next race, and a big lose there. That is Lee Freeman getting it wrong. Darren Scott then comes up to the outside of Andrew Hawkes in the Mini. Is he going to be able to go all the way around the outside of him? Hawkes has to serve the joker anyway, so that's why he was standing his ground on the inside, and he'll drop back now because, again, that joker lap is much slower. Through Irish Ferry's corner, back onto that tarmac. And with the car facing the wrong way there of Lee Freeman, Darren Scott has to be oh so careful as he threads his way through. Now there is Drew Bellaby up ahead now of Andrew Hawkes, so the Minis have switched around, but Mike Boak is still the race leader, and Darren Scott is closing as best he can, but really he needs a slow joker lap from Boak to bring him back into the game here. Over the timing line, past the pits they come, and then up towards what is the first corner in this anti-clockwise direction. To the loose section goes Darren Scott. Boak serves the joker and will come out ahead. He's been able to maintain the advantage, so that's a very good run indeed. Mike Boak still leads the way. From the loose section, back through hole in the hedge, and then down they will blast towards turn 2. The Mondello Park circuit gives very good racing in both directions. It's also delivered a big crowd this weekend and a really big entry, with the Irish contingent here taking on those in the British Championship. It means there's a real mix of driver, lots of unusual faces, unusual cars as well within the entry this weekend, and we've had some great racing across all the classes. Darren Scott then still pushing. Comes across the loose, down now towards the Irish Ferries corner as it's called, and that in turn will bring him onto the tarmac and then across towards hole in the hedge. So Scott chasing after Mike Boak, but it looks as though Boak is going to be on for a semi-final victory here. Drew Bellaby, who was one of the 3 different winners we've had across the BMW Mini Championship this year. Martin Hawkes, Bradley Durden, the others. So Darren Scott blasts his way up towards the timing line, but Mike Boak is looking oh so dominant here. He comes across the loose section. There in the background is Darren Scott, but the gap is just too great, and even though Boak has served the joker lap, it hasn't actually affected the lead margin all that much, has it? There he is, looking dominant. He does a lot of racing, not only in the UK but on the continent as well, and an experienced driver is Mike Boak, and this Citroën getting quicker and also more reliable each time out. threads his way now up towards turn 1, Mobile 1 corner. The checkered flag is at the ready, and it is Mike Boak who draws first blood in the semi-finals, with Darren Scott coming through for second, and third is going to be the best of the BMW Minis, that of Drew Bellaby. Semi-final 1, won by Mike Boak. Darren Scott takes second ahead of Drew Bellaby, and it's Andrew Hawks who comes through in 4th place to round out the qualifiers. Semi-final 2 is good to go here at Mondello Park. For this, there is Paul Coney, 3 times a winner this year, on pole position as the lights go to green. Craig Lomax, middle of the front row, doesn't get a great start, so he's out-dragged by David Bell, and this is Lomax's view. Down towards turn 1, there's Phil Chicken in number 62, who's made a very good start, and he tries to go diving up on the inside as well, sticks his beak up the inside and gains a place. Up on the 2 wheels he goes, and Chicken heads for the Joker lap straight away. Sometimes it's a good idea to get the Joker lap done and dusted early on before the gaps open up. If the field are still together, it means they get a squabble and possibly delay each other, which brings you back into the game sooner. David Bell is another one to Joker early. Craig Lomax then presses on. It's a very smart Citroen that he has, but it's the Vauxhall Corsa VXR that leads the way at the moment. And Paul Coney, class champion both in the UK and Europe, comes over the timing line, and he really has been the benchmark driver all season within Super 1600. It's good that there's more competition now with the likes of Chicken and also Lomax, and definitely Boak getting up there, but for now they've still got to work hard to stop the charging Paul Coney. Has Phil Chicken picked up a bit of damage on that first lap? I think he has. So he and also David Bell, BMW Mini champion of seasons past, hit the loose now. Behind them is Jenny Hawks. But there is Paul Coney. He was victorious at Croft, victorious at Lyndon, victorious at Pembrey, and he's getting away from the rest of them now. You're on board with Craig Lomax. Lomax comes out of turn 2, then across that link road, the loose section that brings them onto the pit straight once more. There's Phil Chicken, still charging on behind. You can see the damage on the front right corner. Now, how much is that affecting the car? He's just glanced a tyre stack by the look of it, so he's taken a bit of bodywork off. He's got David Bell hustling on behind him, and it's the top 4 that we need. They will be the ones that go through into that all-important final. Craig Lomax, former champion, wriggles his way out of the chicane. There is Phil Chicken. Now, is he any closer now to Lomax? A little bit, yes. So the battle for second place starting to pick up again. There's David Bell at the moment, the best of the BMW Mini drivers, but Paul Coney, with a clear road ahead of him, is building this advantage all the time, and then he can get the Joker lap out of the way. Craig Lomax, I don't think he's going to have a chance of really being able to bring that down. There is Paul Coney, and you see now how tight and therefore how slow the Joker lap is. One chicane, and then down to the second, right, left, and then you're back onto the proper circuit once more. Here is Lomax, who in a minute will see Paul Coney up front. The gap, of course, is down, but Lomax is not close enough to be able to attack for the race lead. There's Phil Chicken still pushing on in 3rd spot. He turns his way now through Hole in the Hedge, as it's called, and then down towards turn 2, and that in turn will bring him round towards the Mobile 1 corner. The drivers using Mondello Park for 2 rounds of the championship this weekend. Anti-clockwise today, clockwise tomorrow. So it's a real challenge for them with 2 different track configurations. There was testing yesterday, and there across the loose goes Craig Lomax, still chasing after Paul Coney. Coney in this ultra-smart, very well-developed Vauxhall Corsa has managed to make the break though, and he's dominating this semi-final once more. It's going to be fascinating to see him and Boak going head-to-head in the next race. Lomax pushes on in 2nd place, these little 1600cc front-wheel drive screamers, but Paul Coney, wheel lifting, blasts his way up towards the line. It's looking good for him as he starts the last lap of the race now. Through he comes, stands on the brake as the back tries to unsettle itself, but Paul Coney corrects it, points it towards that loose section. As you look at Jenny Hawks here, getting a little bit crossed up with the Hawksfire Mini, understeers out onto the dirt, gets away with it, but loses time. Paul Coney, however, no such dramas, continues to storm on up front. Through the left-hander of Hole in the Hedge, Craig Lomax in the meantime comes out of turn 2 now. Coney is on target for a win. The checkered flag is being made ready, and semi-final 2 is going to go the way of Paul Coney. Yet another race win this year. Craig Lomax comes through for 2nd. And the best of the BMW Minis is going to be, as it has been so often this year, David Bell chasing Phil Chicken up towards the checkered flag and almost getting there in time to attack, but not quite. Semi-final 2 then is won by Paul Coney. Craig Lomax takes second. Phil Chicken is third ahead of David Bell. They qualify. Jenny Hawkes does not. Martin Hawkes and Dominic Flitney not starting. So the final is ready for this hot hatch Super 1600 and BMW Mini amalgamation. Pole position Paul Coney, Mike Boak and Craig Lomax alongside. Darren Scott, Drew Bellaby are on row 2. Phil Chicken, David Bell and Andrew Hawkes are on row 3. The lights go to green and we are racing. Coney makes the best start, he's on the inside line and now he secures the advantage. Boak slots in behind him. It's going to be Darren Scott for third and then Craig Lomax fourth. Coney leaves the door open, Boak has a look, but he's not really able to make a move there, so he slots in behind as they work their way now across the loose section for the first time. Boak staying with the race leader, so Coney and Boak getting away a little bit. There, look, you've got behind them Craig Lomax as Scott and Chicken and Bell get the Joker out of the way nice and early. Coney up front, but under attack as well. Boak is with him, and staying with the pair of them for the moment is Craig Lomax. Look there in third position. Lomax is another very handy rallycrosser. He's a former champion in the classes within the British Series. So as they complete lap 1, it is Paul Coney up front. Over the line he comes. Mike Boak is staying with him. Are we going to have a new Super 1600 final winner? Coney leads, Boak is second. They've split the fastest times of the day across them within the class today, so you know they're evenly matched, and you also know that equally determined to carry on the 100% record is Coney. As to finally defeat Paul Coney is Mike Boak in 81. They're right on his tail. If anything, Boak is looking closer, he's looking quicker. They come down towards turn 2. Is there a gap? Not quite. Out of the Mobile 1 corner, over the timing line they come. Paul Coney is trying to get away as there Andrew Hawkes is busy squabbling for mini honours. He's got David Bell ahead of him, but Drew Bellaby leads the class and she comes under attack there from Darren Scott, who gets up and past on the inside line. Scott in another of these very smart and very rapid Citroens hits the loose. He's taking Phil Chicken with him, however, as they dance their way back towards the tarmac. There's the mini fight behind. You can see David Bell now is ahead of Andrew Hawkes, but where is Drew Bellaby going to feed back into all of this? The three of them are together and Drew Bellaby stays ahead, so she is on target for seemingly a second win in the BMW Minis. Here are the race leaders. Paul Coney it is who comes across the line, still clear up front. Mike Boak chasing as they work their way now onto the loose section once again. The two of them tied together pretty much. What can Boak do to get past Coney? The answer seemingly is very little, because Paul's so experienced, knows exactly where to position the car. Boak, however, is getting ever more towy, has a look to the inside there, coming through hole in the hedge. Couldn't do it. Down towards what's turn 2 on the clockwise direction, and then you have that strip of loose back towards the start and finish area. Drew Bellaby ahead of David Bell, ahead of Andrew Hawkes. It's these three arguing over mini honours for the moment, but outright and the Super 1600 class, that is nose to tail between Coney and Boak. Third now is the fight between Darren Scott and Craig Lomax, and now as you see Lomax still ahead of Scott out of that leading battle. One of them now has to serve the Joker. Third and fourth have closed right up, and so there, look, it is Mike Boak ahead of Paul Coney. Coney slips back on the Joker. Now this is Boak's chance. It's almost like being in a qualifying session, because with a clear road ahead, he's got to go faster than ever and try and build an advantage to consolidate when he jokers. Lomax keeping Scott at bay for third, but these two could not be closer. What a battle as they come through onto the last lap. Darren Scott looks for the track space, can't do it on the inside. Lines up for the outside. Is that going to work? He's going to have to be really brave to do that. There's Boak serving the Joker. Where is Paul Coney? Is he going to get the race lead back? There's so much to look for now, because in third place you've got them nose to tail as well. Still, Craig Lomax is ahead of Darren Scott. They hit the tarmac and it's Coney back in the lead. Oh, so close. Mike Boakey's crawling all over the back of him, but Paul Coney has done it again. He's managed to hang on to that advantage. Down he comes, over the loose. Checkered flag is at the ready. And so Paul Coney is going to win once more. Mike Boak threw everything at it, but it was just not to be. Third goes the way of Craig Lomax. Fourth to Darren Scott. Fifth to Phil Chicken. And then the minis will come through behind. Action all the way. Paul Coney it is who takes the race win. Mike Boak second from Craig Lomax. Darren Scott fourth ahead of Phil Chicken. Drew Bellaby wins the mini competition. So in the championships, Paul Coney is ahead of Craig Lomax now in the Super 1600s with Darren Scott third. Then it's Phil Chicken and Mike Boak. David Bell and Drew Bellaby are tied now for the lead of the minis, and there's another event to go here tomorrow.